Hey there y'all, it's Megan. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. So I'm going to talk about some more Disney stuff today. Kind of a day of unexpected things, and I'm going to talk about it mainly because when you work at Disney, you need to be prepared to expect the unexpected, basically, because anything can happen. If something can go wrong, it will at some point while you're working there. And this particular day, we just had a succession of things that were just completely out of the ordinary. And so I have my little journal that I took all of my notes in, wrote all my stories down while I was working there. And I've mentioned in my things that I regret about college program, if you haven't seen that, I'll link that up there and down in the description, that I didn't take as good a record as I should. I should have written more, because I still to this day will like look back through and see stuff that like, oh, I had totally forgotten that had happened. So I wish that I had done more of this, but reading through my stories that things that happened is what has brought me to tell you today about the unexpected things that can happen when you are working at Disney World. So on this particular day, it was Wednesday, June 6th of 2012. I don't know what was special about that day, except for everything that could go wrong did. I was set to work from, let's see, 4:15 to 10:45. That was supposed to be my shift. That's a 6-hour shift with a 30-minute lunch. So that was going to be my shift, and I was prepared for that. I left Vista at 3:15. Apparently, I don't know why I kept track of like the times that I left for work and stuff, but I apparently did that. So I left 3:15 to get to work at 4:15. When I got there, they said, "Oh, BT Dubs, park hours have been extended." So that's the first thing that can happen when you're working at Disney World, and especially if you work at Magic Kingdom. They can just decide throughout the day, if the park is very busy, that they are going to have the park open for longer so that people can stay for longer. And that happens kind of frequently. And if you are a college program student, you are probably working at night, and therefore you are probably getting extended. And they call it a forced extension. Not really much you can do about it. It's just, hey, you were working until this time, now you're working until this time. And unless you like called in or something like that, that's your shift, and you're kind of stuck with it. So that night they extended the park hours to midnight, so then instead of working until 10:45, I was working until 11:45, which is only 1 hour difference, but it was still one of those things that was like, I thought I was getting off at 10:45, now I'm getting off at 11:45, which means I'm not getting home until like 12:30. So, you know, just be prepared that if you are working at a park, especially one of the very popular parks like Magic Kingdom, that park hours, especially during the summer, can get extended, and you can have to stay and work for that extended time. Like I said, there's not really anything you can do about it, so you kind of just are like, well, that stinks, and then you just move on. You go ahead and you go and do your work. But then the next unexpected thing happened, which is we went 101, and that's not super unexpected. Things go down periodically. I mean, you're working with attractions that have a lot going on, and some of them are older, some of them have very specific mechanical needs, and stuff just happens sometimes. So if you hear someone say that they're 101, that means the ride has gone down. And Jungle Cruise, one of the most common reasons that it would go down is for weather. I've mentioned before that the Jungle Cruise is an outdoor attraction, and it is an outdoor attraction in metal boat in water. So if there is lightning in the area within a certain radius, they shut it down and get everyone off the river so that everyone is going to be safe. So if there's lightning within a certain radius, Jungle's 101. That's just kind of how it is. So that was the situation this day because it was summer and it rains in Florida. So there was lightning, they shut it down, we got all the boats off the river, got everything put back in storage, and we just kind of had to hang out in front and be like, hey guys, sorry, Jungle Cruise is closed. You can hang out under the canopy if you want, or just go out and find an indoor attraction to enjoy. So all the time we were standing in the rain. That's just how it is. We do have raincoats and rain pants, actually, that you can put on over stuff. But if you've ever been in a rain suit in Florida in the summer, it's hot. It's hotter than Hades, and it's really sticky, and it's gross. It's not my favorite. So typically I would not put the pants on too. I would just wear the jacket if I had to, just to kind of keep my shirt from getting completely soaking wet and sticking to me and being even more clingy and gross than the polyester already was. But we were out there in the rain. That's just how it is when you work at Disney. If you're not in an indoor attraction, you're out in the elements and just get used to it. Your hair's not gonna be cute. It's just not. So that was the situation we were in. So once the lightning cleared, and it was still kind of raining a little bit, but there was no lightning, so everything was cool and we could start back up. So we went back to the back, into this boat storage, got all the boats started back up, got them pulled back out onto the river, and then one of the boats died. We got it up to load and we were getting ready to put people on it and be like, yay, jungle is back open. And the boat just was like, no, I'm not having it. Sorry, not doing it. And so we were like, just kidding. We're having another problem. Give us a second. So we had to get maintenance out. They had to come and they had to do their magic on the boat and get her to start. So then we get it started. And we're like, okay, before we load people on, we have to take a boat through and check the ride path and make sure that everything's good to go, because we did have a thunderstorm and things can happen. So someone, you know, a couple of skippers get on one of the boats and they go out through the river to check on things. And as they go through, they radio back and say, we're still down. The ride path is completely blocked with debris. Come to find out what debris was, here was our, what is this, third, fourth unexpected thing of the day? An entire freaking tree had fallen in the thunderstorm and it was laying completely across the river and the boats could not get through. So we're calling maintenance again. He came out with his chainsaw and they went out on a boat and they had to cut this tree down and pull all the pieces out of the ride path and get it all cleared, and it took a little while. So during all of that time, now we are not sure how long that's going to take because this is something that's never happened. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's happened in history, but not like recent history. So we didn't know what we were going to be doing, how long until we're going to be open. We don't know. So at this point, we've been closed for like 2 hours. And they sent a few of us, it was me and my friend Marielle, and she and I went and stood out at the ramp that if you are coming from like where the Swiss Family Treehouse is, there's a ramp that goes down to the Jungle Cruise. If you walk around, there's some stairs, but the you know, it's just a big long ramp that goes all the way down. So they sent us two up there to stand up there and keep people from even bothering to come down because we didn't want people to get in line expecting us to open back up anytime soon because we really had no idea how long it was going to be. So we went up there, a couple people went over to the stairs between Pirates and the ramp, and they stood there and we all were like, hey guys, sorry, Jungle is down and we don't really know when it's going to be back up. We're having some post-storm maintenance problems is what we had to say. And people were like, well, what does that mean? And we're like, we don't really know. We had some bad weather and some of our foliage has been damaged and we're just trying to get everything cleared up and make sure that everything's safe before we open back up. And people are like, okay, whatever. So I mentioned earlier that it was raining. It's still raining. So at this point now, we stand out there for an hour and a half telling people that we're closed. So about 3.5 hours, we were 101, and that entire time, we were all standing out getting soaked. So I don't have any pictures because I'm sure I looked like some kind of wet mongoose, but it was not a cute look. I bet my eyelashes were like, because I've mentioned before, all of this is fake. I bet my eyelashes were like hanging off and my hair was probably, you know, doing one of these. So we were not looking cute. We probably were not real happy. I don't remember exactly. I think at that point it was kind of funny that it's like, okay, we thought that we were gonna have this like long, terrible shift, and now it's turned out to be just like, hey, we're standing out here in the rain, we're dancing around, we're telling y'all to go find something else fun to do, go get out of the rain, we can't, you can. So it ended up not being a terrible day, even though it was like, hey, surprise, you're working longer. It was just one of those things, and you can't really know what to expect any particular day that you go into work at Walt Disney World because every day is different, all the guests are different, things can happen, and they did. So then finally at 10:15, remember I started at 4:15, at 10:15 we got the ride back up and running, and I went back and got back on a boat, and we had a few boats on the river. So we had 5 boats. We had 5 boats that we put on the river because the later in the day it is, the fewer boats we have because you don't need as many running to, you know, you don't have the volume of people. So we only had 5 boats on the river instead of the normal 10. And so of those 5, like Annie, and the audio stopped. So like the speakers just like quit and went out, and we were like, oh, okay, cool. So now you have to do the I'm yelling the Jungle Cruise to you so that you can hear over my engine, and that's always a really good time. Then the Ida basically just died. She got some debris stuck in the intake of the boat and just was like and was not like, there was no forward propulsion once you got to squeeze play, which is the little elephants that pop up and squirt at you at the very end when you come out of the temple. We kind of just coasted into the dock, and I was like, y'all gotta get Ida off the river because she's not having it tonight. So we still had some problems even after we came back up, and it's another one of those things. Can't plan for it, just kind of gotta roll with it and deal with it as it comes. So that was my unexpected day at the Jungle Cruise. You never know what's gonna happen. Just be prepared for that if you are going to be working at Disney World, especially at one of the very crowded parks. Then you just be prepared to not be prepared. So that's it for today, guys. If you have any stories about when you worked at Disney World, or if you were a guest and you had something really unexpected happen, let me know those down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.